This is a really famous classic episode. This is Really Famous. I'm Kara Mayer Robinson, and I interview famous people. But I don't just interview them like your typical interview. I'm not really interested in those same old questions. Instead, I like to know who they really are and what they really think. Sometimes it's like listening to old friends catching up, and other times it's like eavesdropping on a therapy session. It's the dog whisperer, your favorite dog behaviorist and trainer is on the show. So yeah, this was such a cool conversation. I met Cesar when he was in New York, well, New Jersey actually, doing some live shows with dogs and all. Anyway, Cesar and I and two of his famous dogs, Junior and Benson, sat in his hotel suite for a few hours on a Saturday afternoon before one of his live shows. So here we are with Cesar talking about how he got his start, and he shares an incredible story about how he came to America from Mexico when he was young, broke, and didn't speak a word of English. This is Cesar Millan. Can we talk about where you grew up? You grew up in Mexico.
Yeah.
What part of Mexico was it?
I grew up in a rural part of Mexico. I grew up away from the city, and that was a blessing. That was a blessing because in a farm, your neighbors or your family members are animals, and you get to experience that. It's like, here seeing your neighbors are buildings, and people that come out and walk super fast and just pass by, and everything is fast. The farm has a different rhythm. It has a different vibe, and it's all about respect. It's all about trust first and foremost, and then is the love. So in that order. So I grew up that way. My grandfather, I grew up the old way. As you grew up with your grandfather, grandma, dad, mom, sisters, and relatives. So it's the classic small area where everybody lives in, and so how it functions.
So tell me about your parents and your grandparents. What were they like, their personality?
Well, number one, just so you know, my grandfather died when he was 105.
What?
Yeah, so that wisdom, he never went to school. That's the generation that was just pure farmer. He was in the revolution of Mexico, so he was running away because he didn't want to go fight, but he was part of that revolution in Mexico. He will have like marks on the back because they would get whip scars, but his mind was very clear, he was a very calm guy, very loving guy. My grandma was the strong one. It's like Italian moms, you know what I mean? Or grandma. So my grandma was the pack leader there, She was like total, like an elephant, and everybody would listen to my grandma, But my grandpa was the one who said, never work against Mother Nature. Always make sure you gain their trust, you gain their respect, and they're gonna give you a beautiful gift called loyalty. So you grew up with that mentality, that was his wisdom to me. That was his treasure to me. My dad is a huge animal lover, so that's what I got the passion and the love. So my grandpa gave me instincts, and my father gave me the passion to animals. And that's how I developed this. Well, I want to work with animals. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be an engineer. I don't really care about those professions. I respect them, but I don't really care. And my grandma didn't have education either. My grandma died 5 years later after my grandfather, and she also died at 105.
What?
So that genetics,
wow.
And her hair was long.
That is major.
Yeah, her hair was long. She went back to the farm. She said, your grandpa died. I want to go back to the farm. This is the kind of people, they're so rooted to where they're from that the city overwhelmed them.
Wait, what do you mean I want to go back? Where was she then at that point?
Oh, we moved to the city.
Oh,
so from the farm.
Why did you move to the city?
Because there's no education in the farm. Like ABC, I learned how to read, I learned how to write.
While you were on the farm?
No.
That's why you moved?
That's why we moved,
so that
because
they wanted,
the next generation had to be better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the unselfish
So the
behavior.
whole family moved to the city?
My mom, my dad, my grandparents stayed at the farm. By then my dad had a job in the city, so he would send money to the farm. back in that time, everybody, we farm and we helped a wealthy person in that area to herd the cattle, and that's how I learned a lot about sheep herding. I didn't know that was actually a profession or a sport. But we had mutts. We never had a purebred dog. So it's just the dogs knew what to do.
So you own the dogs, you train the dogs, and then you use them.
No, we never trained the dogs. We never trained the dogs. It was just natural. It was just instincts. Dogs naturally form packs, and they also create formation. Once dogs start chasing something, everybody chases, right? And then once the human says, hey, or which is very simple sounds that we use in the farm, and then the dogs know, okay, so the human is going to tell us when to run, when to chase, when to form, when to stop. That's it.
It's just like that.
It's just like that. It's just like that. You can see it in African wild dogs. They go for a hunt and then they form. So that same thing, but now it's controlled by a human. Simple as that. Because the human feeds them. And it's not like we gave them kibbles, like the amazing food that we have here in America.
Right.
It's just like the leftovers of what. Yeah. You see what I mean? So what they see is team effort. It's like we eating and we give you food. So then the loyalty and the gratitude is given to us. So that's why we can influence a behavior.
Okay, so you are doing the herding, or your dad is, or your family is.
We all are.
You all are.
Yeah.
So you're getting educated, but you're also working in this way.
At the moment you walk in a third world country, you gotta help.
Yep.
It is not that, he's too little. That doesn't exist. You are gonna take care of your sister, you're gonna take care of something, you're gonna take care of a goat. You become responsible of something ASAP.
And that's with you now, forever it will be, that's part of you.
Yeah,
the work ethic. So siblings, who do you have? Who are your?
My older sisters, but she now also does dogs in Mazatlan, in the city. And at that moment, she was not allowed to do men work. That's the bad part about that cultural thing. You know what I mean?
So what did you have to do? Like
house thing, stay at the house.
Clean.
Yeah, that's stupid stuff. Yeah, but now she's totally like. The new woman.
And she in Mazatlan?
Mazatlan.
And what does she do there?
She does dog walking, dog behavior. Yeah, and she grooms dogs.
It's the two of you only?
No. So that's my older sister. So that's but the thing is, they give so much value to the male, right? So that's the unfortunate part. In that era, now it's equal. And then it's my sister Nora, and then it's my sister Monica, and then it's my brother Eric. So at the end, but my brother grew up in the city. My two little sisters grew up in the city. They didn't get the farm life, which is good. It's good. So
what was your personality compared to everybody else? In a family, they're all different personalities. So who were you as a kid?
Well, it's 3 levels of energies: high, medium, low. I was high. So I'm that little kid that if you don't keep him busy, it's gonna destroy the house. I'm the kid that asks a lot of questions, and it's just this. Your mind is always in an adventure state. Your mind is always in a building state. Your mind is always moving. So your mind and your body too, like you were constantly. Well, if your mind moves, your body goes.
So did you get into trouble, or did your
I got
family
into trouble
learn
at the city because the restrictions that the city puts in a kid, I never felt it in the farm. My mom never felt like she couldn't trust people at the farm. So I would go to the river by myself, or with the donkey, or with the dogs, or with my cousin Enrique when I was little. My grandpa would send me to find the donkey, because sometimes the donkey would open the door and takes off, and he will start eating other people's things. Yeah, that's not good. So then they're gonna complain, and then they're gonna make us pay. So in the middle of the night he will send me, right? But in the city, then your parents begin to talk about kidnappers. And so I don't know if you know, but where I'm from is where the cartels are from. So that's when we hear danger.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the center of it, like?
That's the center. Yeah.
Oh, and that was going on all along.
All everywhere. Yeah. So that's the equivalent of the Pablo Escobar. The Medellin thing. So you hear Colombia and you hear where I'm from. So Sinaloa, that's where the Chapo is from.
Oh, right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's where El Señor de los Cielos is from, the Lord of the Sky. You know, so all the main guys
They're all from
come
there.
from there.
Well, so did you like have any like interaction at all? Or
Yeah,
with them?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like how?
But you know who they are. You know who they are. Their children go to school with the other kids. You know, they're guarded by their bodyguards.
So everybody knew who they were and
Yeah.
what they were up to. And so what did like your family's like? You just have to lay low with them, or?
Well, you know, that's when your mom. Obviously, the mom is the one that worries the most.
Yeah.
And that's the one. You know, just keep a distance. You know, keep a distance. Don't give a bad face or anything like that, because then you also get hurt by you know, rejecting people. So you have to learn to mingle. You know what I mean? You have to learn to survive, and you have to learn to accept. You know, so you have to be able to live within the danger of society. And I didn't grow up that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm from, it was like perfect.
So did
It
you
was
feel
safe.
uneasy?
Well, uneasy because I wasn't able to drain the energy. So now that I see it, it's like the boundaries are smaller. You know, it's, you are confined to a block. We live in apartment buildings. Even though we live in a small house, it didn't feel like an apartment. You know what I mean? My house was here and the church was here. You know,
And it's right next to it.
Right next to it, and then the area where they sell all the groceries was here, and then the cantina. One cantina was in the farm. It was over there, and the only place that has a light on it. One light in the whole entire town, and the whole entire little town, little village.
Yeah. And so you didn't really get to escape the city much, I guess. But then when your grandfather died.
Yeah, well, my grandfather. But by the time my
that was
grandfather
old-
died, I
that
was
was later.
11, 12, 13 years old, something
Okay.
like that.
So you're 11 or 12. So your grandfather was a lot older than you then. Your grandfather was a lot older than
course.
you. A lot.
A lot, yeah. My dad was the 11th son. Yeah, and he was the smallest son. It normally is the older son who stays in charge, you know, of the parents. But my dad, for some reason, he wanted to stay in charge. That's why I grew up with my grandfather. That's tradition.
So
yeah.
you broke tradition. The family did.
My dad did.
Yeah.
My dad did. You know, he loves his parents so much. Like, I remember when my grandpa passed away, he wanted to carry the casket by himself, which is the craziest thing to even think about it.
Yeah.
It was remarkable to see, and definitely was a sad scene to see, because he was devastated. I never seen my dad like devastated. It's very strong, you know. That people from that era, they're just too strong.
Yeah, well, they maybe keep it all inside.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not feeling it,
Right.
but they don't let
Right,
it
they
out.
definitely repress every single thing.
It's a generational thing,
Yeah,
and you know,
it's
I
like
don't know.
a samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your dad is.
But now he cries for everything.
He does, but that's common too. I think as they get
Yeah,
older.
it's like, you know, I'm on the phone. And now he's 83. He comes to my ranch in LA, and you know, when he doesn't get to talk to me for like a week, he start crying. Never in his life he would ever show weakness. You know, that was like a no.
We softened up.
Well, I guess it's part of it. You know, that has to come out. And for nothing, he pretty much he started tearing for nothing.
He's making up for
Yeah, I
lost
feel
time.
like weird, you know. It's like, well, dude, I don't know how to see you like with a tear on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I remember I wanted to cry. So, men don't cry. It was like, but the donkey just stepped on my feet. Yeah, but men don't cry. So you don't know how to do that, you know, especially when you're a kid. It's a natural thing to express yourself. And so I grew up that way. So when I see him crying, like, what do I do? Right.
It's
When I see my kids cry, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I cried, and I mean, definitely America has allowed me to be in touch to my emotional side.
Yeah.
You know,
So you weren't when you were in Mexico. You weren't that in touch with
When
your
I'm from, you
emotions?
can.
You can't.
You know what I mean? You can. It's like it's sad at that time. Now it's definitely way better. You know,
So
definitely.
what changed though? Just being here, or did you?
Well, I think the exposure of looking perception. You know, is it true that men can't cry? You know what I mean? Can a woman be a leader? You know what I mean? Is a woman that smart? Like all those things, it's so taboo. It's definitely moving away from where you are, it allows you to see a different way of looking at the world.
Totally, because you're in one environment, you see things one way, but it's almost as soon as you step into a different one that it's like, not only are you seeing the new environment, but you're seeing your old environment in a totally different way.
And America happens to. Machismo exists all over. Machismo is not just a Latino thing or a Mexican thing. Machismo exists in America. There's a lot of guys who feel that the woman, can, not too long ago, a woman couldn't vote here.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this perception or this way of looking at the world, we still don't have a woman president in Germany already has a woman president,
Yes, they sure do.
And England has a woman, prime minister. So elephants have been doing it for a long time,
and they're smart animals.
That's right. So listen, I tell people, listen, this woman leading thing has been happening for a long time, especially with the elephants.
Yes, let's look to the elephants.
That's right. So why the elephants? Because they know that a male, when he's unstable, she shouldn't be ruling the pack, and that's what they remove him. And this has been happening for hundreds of years. The humans is finally catching up. That has nothing to do with gender. It's what's best for the pack.
Sure.
So that gives you the, going to different places. It allows you to open your mind and really look at the world in a different light.
So you moved here. I read something about you were a teenager. You were 21 and you didn't speak English at all.
Zero.
So why did you come here? What were you thinking?
Well, I started watching Lassie and Rin Tin Tin when I was 13. So I thought that all dogs in America were just like Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. So I said, wow, when I grow up, I'm gonna go to Americans, because all the American movies, the Americans are the heroes and they're all white, and so I have to go learn from the white people. And so they were all white. So I said, I have to go find me an American. And for me at that time, Americans were white. Because Jesus Christ is white too. You know what I mean? So everything good was white. So America is white. And all the superheroes were white at that time. Finally, it's a Black Panther. You know what I mean? Yes,
Black Panther,
yes, finally. So maybe one day a Mexican will be a superhero too.
Yeah, hello.
So that's why everybody in the Rin Tin Tin era, they were white, and Timmy was white. So that made me believe that in order for me to be the best, I have to come and learn from Americans.
Oh, so you always wanted to be the best then?
Yeah. Yeah. Even when I did come, the greatest thing that my mom did when we moved to the city is she put me in judo. So she redirected that energy because I was getting really frustrated and I was releasing that frustration on my sisters. So because I have too much energy, it's like there's just a block. That's all I can go. And I'm used to go miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, judo is a smart move.
And martial arts, soccer, baseball. We didn't have like a sport places the kids can go. Where I'm from, you can go to the beach and play, but it's too far from where I was. And at that time, my friends didn't want to go to the beach. They just want to play baseball with their hand. And so I had way more energy than they did. And so they put me in judo since I was 6 or 8, something like that, and that redirected my energy. I became a champion. I compete
okay.
So I just wanted to be the best. You know what I mean? It's just it's singers born to sing, and when you're born to be a leader or you're born to win, or by nature we're very competitive. Especially the kids that grow with the energy that I grew up, the high level energy kids, they're gonna be Michael Jordans, they're gonna be Kobe Bryants, they're gonna be, they're gonna be something. They have to. It's just no other choice. You can't. You go crazy if you don't.
Right. It's just your inner self is just kind of pulled in that direction.
That's it.
So all right. So you decided to move to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And how'd you do it?
I jumped the border.
Did you plan it out? Like, did you know where to go? Like, that there was a certain spot?
you hear. Yeah. Well, for the people where I'm from, there is the Pacific side of it. That's in Tijuana. So people from the other side, they cross from Matamoros, they go to Texas, they go to Arizona, they go to Chicago, But people from where I'm from, they hear Tijuana, California. That's it. You know what I mean? It's a very simple path. But in order for me to leave, I needed to be 21 because otherwise my mom would not let me leave, And so I saved some money for the bus. My dad gave me his life saving, which $100.
What?
People over there work a lot and they get very little. Here we're blessed to have by the hour. You know what I mean? And you have the human resources, and you have human rights, and all of that great stuff, and you have lawyers. And over there, no. Over there is just, the labor is really bad.
But he believed in you, and he wanted you to
start
off with the most that you could.
I always say things, and I never. I always do what I say since I was little. So they just knew that day, because I left on December 23rd, I went to my mom and said, "Mom, I'm leaving." And how serious I was about the statement, it really, she called my dad and said, "Hey, you got to come here because, your son is leaving." And so he saw my certainty about what I was saying, and he said, "Better wait for me." So he came and gave me the $100, you know what I mean? And that's, I know that was all his savings, you know what I mean? So I put it in between my feet and my socks, and I took the bus. I gave him a hug.
By yourself?
By myself.
And you headed off to this one spot that you thought would be...
Well, the destination was Culiacan, from Culiacan to Tijuana. And back then, the buses were very slow. So it took like a day and a half or something like that. And the toilets smell really bad in the bus, It was, and that's when the bus drivers used to take pills so they can drive all day. I mean, it was the most dangerous thing.
That's a little scary.
That's a little scary, yeah.
That's worse than the smell, even.
Yeah. But that was normal, you know what I mean? That was normal. You hear it, you know it. The guy, they were very edgy all the time. And so I just, my mom gave me the blessings, and I took off, and so it took me 2 weeks to cross the border. Because, I wanted to keep my $100, you know what I mean? So what I paid for the bus, that was it. So I didn't have any more money. I didn't know an address. I just knew the Disneyland or Hollywood. That was it. So that's the beauty of like that innocent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. If you had known more, you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. The more choices you have, the less a decision you make. Mm-hmm. And so I had family, like my brother, my uncles from my mom's side, but they live in Arizona, Yuma, Arizona,
which
nobody wants.
Spot.
Not terrible. It's just desert. You know what I mean? It was. So that was an address, but I was Arizona. I'm going to Disneyland.
Right, you're going
Hollywood.
to Disneyland.
You're
going to the Hollywood sign in the hills.
That's pretty much it. I didn't know that.
Yes,
know what I mean? Because when you watch Lassie and Rin-Tin-Tin, the whole Disneyland thing comes out.
Yes.
And that was like the back in the days, like, and that's Disneyland. You see, okay, Disneyland.
Well, like, what was the landscape there?
Where?
At the border.
Well, it's a big wall. It's a big wall with holes, and those holes are controlled by older ladies, and they're selling coffee and gum. So they're there, but if you try to cross, you have to pay the ladies.
No way.
Yes.
Oh.
So it looks
like you're getting gum.
No, it looks like those ladies are working, versus if you see a guy standing there waiting, it's more obvious for the police to tell the guy to move or to arrest them, versus an old lady selling coffee and gum. Mm-hmm. So it's really just a facade. Mm-hmm. Those ladies are evil. They're mean as hell. They're super mean, but they're doing their job, and so, but there is a guy across the street from them taking care of them. Yeah, so those ladies are just there to make sure that you pay to use that hole.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you gave her all the money you had?
No, well, I tried it for 2 weeks, just in different places, different, that's my job, right? To find a place to get. I follow people, I follow coyotes. I mean, at that time, it rained in Tijuana really bad. A lot of people was watched out because you don't see 21-year-old kids crossing the border only. You see pregnant women. They want to have the babies on this side. And they're not as strong. You see older men wanted to get the health care, or they want to work on the strawberries and whatever. And I saw people being taken away by the current. And the coyote said, "Keep going!" And the family members wanted to chase wanted to go and save them. So a lot of people die. A lot. You see a lot of sadness. You see kids on the people's shoulder. I mean, it's dangerous. It's like what the refugees are doing right now. They have to go through the cold or through the desert, and I went through the rain. But for 2 weeks, I got caught over and over and over. The beautiful thing about the Border Patrol of the American Border Patrol is when they catch you, they feed you.
Okay.
So
you kept getting.
So often I will go and just get caught because I was starving. So I will get my sandwich, I will get my Coke, and I will wait for them to drop me off back.
Oh.
You learn the system, but they scare you. I mean, their job is definitely to scare you. You're breaking the rules, and they say we're gonna send you to Honduras. We're gonna send you to El Salvador. It's like, what the hell is that? What I mean? Like, they scare you. They scare you. And one guy, when I was caught the first time, the guy immediately turned around and said to me, "Don't give your real name." And so when I wrote my first book, I called those people the angels that you can see, because that was a human that was there to tell me. Because I'm an honest guy, even though I'm breaking the rules, I was going to give my name.
Yeah, sure,
what I mean?
What's your real name?
Cesar Felipe Millan Favela.
Okay, and what name did you give?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
Just whatever, you know what I mean? And you change the name over and over and over. As
necessary.
Yeah. The good thing is I didn't have tattoos, so they couldn't say, no, this is your real name.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a blessing. The other people that get tattoo and they get caught, that's it, they're done.
So you finally got through.
I got through. This coyote guy came to me, and the guy was skinny, was dirty, and he was smoking a joint. And he said to me, "You want to cross the border?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do." I said, "I charge you $100," and that to me was like a sign, because nobody knew I had $100. Nobody knew. So that made me feel like to trust them. This is the one. That's right. So this is the beauty of this guy. He helped me cross the border. He said, "I'm gonna take you to a gas station, and then I'm gonna get a taxi for you, and he's gonna take you out, and it's gonna drop you off in San Diego." I said, "But you know what? I'm giving you all my money, so I don't have money to get out." He paid the taxi driver $20 to take me out. So he only made $80. He said, "I'm saying this as another angel." It was.
And he followed through with it?
Yeah.
And so the taxi took you to San Diego?
Yeah. So that's how I made it.
So what did you do when you got to San Diego?
Oh, I went to sleep under a freeway.
And then what?
Well, then after the second day, on the second day I started walking around, see how I was gonna eat. You can always mop, you can always, sweep. The classic jobs of car wash, dishwasher.
Yeah. So you started working to get these jobs.
Because everybody in San Diego speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody speaks Spanish. And so I'm not a shy guy, and I just move around. And
but you knew that Hollywood was a little further north.
Yeah.
So
San Diego was not even in,
Right, so you were just there for a while, knowing that you still wanted to go.
I don't have money, so it's another border, it's called San Clemente, that you can only cross by car or bus. That's it. You can't walk it. You have the mountains on this side, which is the Marines are always training, and you have the beach, which they're always patrolling. So your only way to get through it is by car or a bus. So obviously I have to take a bus, and you have to wait when they're not supervising, when they're not stopping every single car.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
they have those days. So I stayed in San Diego for like 2 months. So I that's what I learned about 7-Eleven. I learned about AM/PM. You can buy 2 hot dogs for 99 cents. You can buy a refill for one time and just refill the big gulp. You know what I mean? So you invest one time and you go and refill yourself as much as you want, which is just an amazing thing.
So you figured it out. You saw the system.
Well, survival. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Survival. I mean, I already crossed the border, so the hardest part is already done. So just to America it's the land of opportunities.
Sure.
You know, it's just the qualities of the opportunities. It's not just an opportunity. It's the quality. You know, it's the quality that America offers to people that are hungry. You have to be hungry to be in America if you want to have the American dream. You know,
right. It's not going to just come to you. You have to want it, and then you make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, America's going to embrace uniqueness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
America loves the uniqueness, the hustle and bustle. You know what I mean? America embraces anybody that is hungry.
Grit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you make it. You get on a bus.
Well, before I got on the bus, I wasn't making enough money for me to buy a ticket until I started working in a grooming salon in Chula Vista, a dog grooming salon, and that's when I learned my first sentence: do you have application for work? That's what I learned first. Do you have application for work?
Okay. How did you learn it?
I repeated it as many times.
Okay.
Well, I asked somebody, hey, how do you ask for a job?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you ask for a job? It's, do you have application for work? Okay, do you have application for work? Yeah, so one, you know, every day you work in different places. Okay, so if you go to Sizzlers, if you go to like Denny's, you go in the back, and it's always somebody missing. Okay, always somebody. The dishwasher guy is missing. Somebody's missing. So that's you go and take over. They're gonna pay you very little. But I didn't need a lot of money.
So someone's always missing. Why? Because they don't want to be.
I don't know, because they didn't want to work.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But there's always a spot, but it's not a long-term spot.
For
so
me, I'm gonna go to a different Sizzler. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But then at the grooming shop.
At the grooming shop.
That was steady.
I pass by and look at the grooming shop. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a groomer. Right, so I go in there, and that's when I practiced the first time, because on the other places they were all Latinos in the back, right? And so I go in there. There's 2 old white ladies. I go in there and say, "Hi, do you have application for work?" And they start talking to me in English, but the good thing is they had a Cocker Spaniel in the back, and they went to the Cocker Spaniel and he started biting them in their hands, right? And then they show me the picture and say, obviously what they were saying is, if you do it, you can have the business, right? So I went in there, grabbed the dog, calmly, you know, relaxed the dog, and the ladies were...
They were impressed.
They were impressed.
And shocked.
You know, and super. So that day, I made $60. They charge $120 for grooming, and I said, you know, the whole grooming thing, and the bath and the blow dried, and it takes. So bottom line is, they pay the groomers 50%.
That's major.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And
unusual.
And so I wanted to give them $50 back and just take 10. You know, to me it was too much. My dad would make that in a week. You know. So the lady said, no, you're gonna keep this, and you know, and so I kept I kept the $60. I felt super rich, from nothing to $60, and one dog.
And one dog. So you kept the job then?
So they say, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I came back, and then they find out that I was homeless. So what they did is, listen, you can stay here. They gave me the keys to the place so that I can sleep in. So I start cleaning the whole place. I'm a neat freak, you know. I'm a Virgo, so I like things organized. I like things super clean. My mom always had, listen, poor doesn't mean dirty, and so I cleaned that place. They were so grateful about it. I took a shower in the bathtub. That was my first shower in America. Was on a bathtub for dogs.
That's so. I love that. That's so right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In so many ways.
Yeah.
It's good.
So that's it. I took a shower, and then by the time that I realized, I made $1,000.
Whoa. It was working for everyone. So it was a win-win-win,
Oh, no, the ladies
right?
were-
They loved you probably. The dogs loved you. You were making money.
The owners of the dogs
Yeah.
said, my dogs are so happy.
Oh,
you know, my
okay.
dogs are so happy. They're just very relaxed. You know, when the ladies did it, the dogs would finish tense. You know, and with me, the dogs would finish happy-go-lucky. And it was just my energy. You know, it's just my energy. Plus, I knew how to groom. And so it got to the day, you know, you meet people in the street, and one guy came to me, Cesar, they're not stopping right now. This is the time to go. So I went to the Greyhound, buy a ticket, give the kids back to the ladies, and you know, with my, you know, very much like Charlie Chaplin, you know what I mean? I was communicating my gratitude to them and giving the kids back, and then I took the bus and left. But I first bought a pair of pants and a pair of and a t-shirt and a new shoes, because I had the same clothes for 2 months.
Wow.
Yep, 2 months. That's it. I didn't have it. I didn't bring a backpack. I didn't bring nothing. It was just me, myself, and I.
So then you had your clothes.
I went to Miller Outpost. I don't know if you remember that store. Oof, it was an old one. It's an old one. So I always wanted to buy Levi's 501. You know,
and you got a pair?
Yep. Yeah, I got them.
So you got on the bus, and then?
I got on the bus, and we passed the line. My heart was beeping like a million miles an hour, breathing, praying, you know, classic Catholic stuff. I cross, and just relief, and the smile, and this joy, and the victory, you know. I am in Los Angeles.
Amazing.
I am in Los Angeles. I arrive at Skid Road. I don't know what the hell the Skid Road was until I arrived in downtown LA, which it was a horrible area. And I just walked onto the street, you know. You have to be street smart to walk the streets. You have to be, you know, street confident to walk the street. And all these drug addicts everywhere. I seen drug dealers. I never seen drug addicts.
What are you talking about? You had like the big guys.
Yeah, but those guys are not like
right. They're business people.
Yeah, they're not like messed up, you know. These people are like in the street, smell terrible, and you see they're shooting with a needle. That was the first time I actually saw somebody shooting heroin,
right in front of you.
in my life. Over there, nobody does that, you know. They don't even smoke weed. It's all about cocaine on that side. You know what I mean? Because weed is for the poor, and cocaine is for the rich. So that's, you know, heroin is for the worst.
Right.
Right? So that's how they perceive it there. So you're never going to see, well, at least I never saw anybody doing that. You know?
So that was a big
that was a big shock. Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like, whoa, that's something else. But I didn't make anything out of it. It is what it is, and you know, that's their thing. This is my thing, and I move out of the Skid Road, and I went for downtown LA. You know, I sleep on a bench, and the next day back then it was the Yellow Pages. You know,
I remember.
And there's a phone booth, and I look in the phone booth, and by then I already knew about the Yellow Pages and to look for kennels, right? So I immediately.
But hold on, you could read English? You knew
well,
the word
you
kennel?
understand, you know.
Oh, you probably knew, right?
Yeah,
you would know the word. Right.
Kennels.
So you were. It sounds to me like you're starting to pick up English.
Well,
at
I'm
this
not a
point.
slow guy.
No, you're not.
You know what I mean? I know what I want. I know what to ask. You know, one of the things that I have very clear in me is that I always want to ask the right questions. So I caught a lot of crap. You know what I mean? Maybe my English is not good, but my questions are to what I want. You know, so to what I want is to where I want to go. So very clear.
So you knew kennels. You looked it up in the
kennels,
pages.
yes, right.
And then what?
But remember, there is the Spanish side and then there's the English side.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And then you have the Chinese side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you die because you want to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You listen. You don't have to know the language to get to what you want to go. Yeah. Now your intention have to be more powerful than your obstacles. So
you
that's
got a
it.
job?
So I called this place, and this Cuban guy say, that was a luck or a bless, whatever you want to call it. He said, yeah, right now I need a kennel boy. I'm in my way. Where are you? I took a bus. You ask, like I say, in San Diego and Los Angeles, everybody speaks Spanish, so it's not like I was suffering from the language. And tell you take the 136. Exit here, da 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 da. So it took time. I got to the place. The guy gave me the job, and that's when I learned about the kennels. The work in kennels, picking up poop, feeding hundreds of dogs, walking dogs so they can go pee and poop, like how they do it. You know what I mean? The guys was selling trained dogs that he purchased from Germany, and then he comes and sell it to the American people. Steve Wynn was one of his clients. So we're talking about $60,000-$50,000 dogs.
Yes.
And so that was the dog training thing, which I was like, it's kind of boring, because the dogs are in the kennel, and they go out, and the trainer practice sit down, stay calm, heel, and he put it back in the kennel. So that to me was like kind of unnatural, that's that. And so later in the night, what I started doing is I started bringing the dogs outside when I started finish work. So my days were 16-hour days. So I bring them out and I put them in a pack, which that's what I grew up with. But the guy got mad at me because they can fight and this, do not do that, this is not good for the dogs. It's like, what do you mean? It's like telling kids not to play with each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that didn't make any sense to me. But that's his place. So I just say, listen, I just want to be with somebody. I don't have anybody to talk. The guy, we didn't talk a lot. He was my boss, and that was it. He let me sleep in the place, so I will get $200 a week. The ladies on the grooming place will pay me more than this guy.
Right. Well, the ladies in the grooming place, that was a lucky spot.
Yeah, totally.
So, all right. So you're working for them, and then what? You made a move at some point.
Yeah, I made a move. The people at the place, the customers, start seeing that their dogs respond very trustworthy to me. So they really like how their dogs were behaving towards me, more natural. Versus the trainer, they were a little bit more in the cowering thing. And so one guy said, you know what? His name was Jay Real, and he had a limousine. He will sell limousines. And he said, come to work with me, and I make sure all my friends send you their dogs so you can work with them.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and so he had Buck and Samantha, 2 golden retrievers. So he saw that I wasn't happy there, and he saw that he can utilize me for other things, and at the same time he can help me. Yeah. So that's another angel. Yes. You see, and so that, and he helped me. Back then, you didn't need to have a green card or anything to have a DMV driver license. So he took me to get a driver license. He gave me an Astro van.
Gave it to you?
Well, he loaned it to me and eventually sold it to me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and he paid me $8.50 an hour.
Okay.
And my job was to make sure all the limos were super clean and detailed. I learned about detail.
Yeah, and again, your cleanliness.
Yeah, perfect.
That came in handy.
Yep, perfect. And then he referred to me to his friends, and he told me to charge $300 per dog. I didn't know what to charge, so $10 a day, pretty much, per dog. So it was a steal, right? But for me, it's not about the $300. It's I'm doing 5 dogs.
Sure.
So it's $1,500.
Right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Plus what I'm making as in the car wash, and then I have a car now. I start feeling more part of the environment. You know, and thanks to this guy, he didn't have to do it. You know, he didn't have to do it. So that's how I start becoming known as this Mexican guy who has a pack of dogs. Because to me, it was all about the pack. To me, it was all about walk.
Yeah. So you'd walk them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then people would see you on the street.
People would
Have
see
you seen
me.
that Mexican guy walking a million dogs?
That's right. That became the word of mouth.
So that more people would call you to do it, or would something else go on? Were you becoming like a hot topic?
Well, so then another guy named Ross, he gave me an apartment in the back of his house, like a studio. A studio, and in return, I can work with his two dogs, Syke and Howie, a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler. So I was his personal, in a way, dog walker, trainer, dog care for dogs, whatever, all of that. And I didn't care. I just had a place to live. So that put me in Inglewood. And that, believe it or not, that's when I became known as the guy who can work with the most powerful breeds, which is the Rottweilers, the German Shepherds, and the Pit Bulls. Because in the hood, they don't have Labradors or Shih Tzus. You know what I mean? They all have one of those. You know, they do have a dog for protection purposes. You know what I mean? So I start walking dogs for people. I start charging $10 a day, and I will walk the dog for a long time. So it was a great deal, but I was doing 30, 40 dogs at the same time.
Holy cow, it's a lot of dogs.
It's a lot of dogs, and it's great money, $300, $400 a day.
So what happened then? Did they scoop you up and say, this is like a phenomenon, let's put him on TV?
No. No. What happened is the word of mouth. So then back then the Lakers used to play in the Forum. You know, and so now the Forum is back, but it's used for like concerts and things like that. And so all the Lakers start sending their assistants, hey, go find me that guy, you know, the walk from Inglewood to South Central. And that's when I started working for dogs for the NBA. I started working for dogs for, you know, Vin Diesel, you know, Nicolas Cage. I met Jada Pinkett. I met Will Smith. You know, so then. So
you became like a celebrity dog.
I guess.
Guru.
I guess, you know, I didn't see it that way, but I guess I was the only guy who was rehabilitating dogs who bit people, dogs who bit dogs. You know what I mean?
So plenty of the dogs you were walking at that time were troubled dogs.
Yeah.
So they were getting more than just a walk.
Yeah, I didn't know how to charge at that time. Yeah, but you know, it's the same treatment. You're just giving the dog what he's missing, which most dogs in America are missing a long walk. That's it. A lot of the problems can go away with a good long walk. So then the LA Times. That's when the TV show came. So then the LA Times. They did a
story on you?
Yeah, they did it. They followed me for 3 days. You know, so they went to a consultation. They went to the mountains with me. They from the morning to the night. So they follow me. You know, they documented my life for 3 days. And at the end, the lady says, so you have a great thing going on. You know, people come and limousines come to South Central and they drop off their dogs. And what would you like to do next? You know, America always like to ask people like what they want to do in 5 years. I never heard that. You know what I mean? But I also I never stopped myself from saying what I want. So I said I would like to have a TV show or a radio show so I can teach people common sense. You know, so I can teach people, because at that time I didn't want to train dogs anymore. I just
you were done by then.
No, I just want to train people.
So at some point there was a shift for you.
Yeah, because I saw it's not the dogs with the problem. You know what I mean? A dog that is trained doesn't mean it's balanced, and a dog that is balanced doesn't mean it's trained. I'd rather have a balanced dog than a trained dog. You see, humans who are trained doesn't mean they're nice. You know, doesn't mean they're balanced. So that's when I understood balance, the difference between balance and train. My clients are Harvard graduate, but they can't walk a Chihuahua. You see what I mean? So, yeah.
Yes.
So that's when so what I already knew, I can sell it. So who do I sell it? To the humans. How? I train people, rehabilitate dogs. See, I changed the game.
So you were already thinking that before the article? Like before the LA Times came to interview you?
Yeah.
So when they asked you that question...
So when they asked me the question, I just came out from the soul, and I said, well, I just want to have my own TV show, you know, and or a radio show. And so they wrote it down in the LA Times. I mean, it was a lot of pages. It was like 2-3 pages on the LA Times. And so the newspaper came on a Sunday. By Monday, it was a line of producers outside.
Get out of here! Waiting, lining up.
What is this? Because that's the moment of the live shows of the reality shows.
They were just coming to
that's when
top.
The Osbournes.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, those were the first. So then I said I want to have my own show, and I mean I'm unusual.
And then what show was that? So that was The Dog Whisperer?
Yeah.
And now I read something about they like sort of own your name or something like that?
Oh, that was the lawsuit. That was when artists or people who are creative, we are most of the time we're going to be very trusting and very naive when it comes to contracts. So I went into a business with this production company, believing that they were going to honor the I guess the friendship or everybody gets a piece. Everybody gets a piece, and we all need to feed our families, and you own your thing, I own my thing, and so I will take care of you. I make sure that every single dog we do, I'm going to do it perfect. And so it wasn't that way. It has happened, and that's when I learned, happened to happen to many people, It happened to so many people, they signed the wrong contract.
And then they basically get screwed.
And we get screwed, we screw. I finally, we won the lawsuit after 6 years. Yeah, so now I own 50%.
Oh, okay. But for a while you didn't.
No, I didn't. No, not even my name.
What do you mean your name? Your actual name, Cesar Millan?
Yeah, I couldn't use my name for a TV show. So somehow they wrote it into even my kids' names. So if I wanna have show Cesar Millan, I will have to pay them money to use my name.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was a very dishonest, oh my God, it was borderline evil.
And that was the first contract that you signed, or was that a different production company?
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
So what was going on then at that time? So that everything changed for you, I guess, right? Once you get the show. So now people are really recognizing you more than they already did before.
Oh yeah. I mean, I never had a TV show before.
So you have a home at this point. You bought a home?
Oh yes. We bought a home in Inglewood.
When you say we, who are you talking
Well, I was
about?
married.
So when did you get married? Where did that come in?
Oh, when I moved to Ross's house. At the studio place. So so that was, as I'm working in America and doing all of that, of course you want to meet women.
Yeah.
You want to meet ladies, and so I met the mother of my kids. She got pregnant pretty fast, and that's how it happened.
Okay. So you were married before the show came, before the article?
Yeah.
Okay, and you had kids already?
Andre.
Oh, you had one?
Yeah.
You have two sons, right?
Yeah, Andre and Calvin.
Okay.
Which they both have a show.
They each have a show?
Yeah.
What are the shows called?
Nickelodeon is Calvin. He has mutton stuff.
Okay.
And Andre has Dog Nation with me, and also have a Pet Talk.
Okay. All right, so you're married and you get the show. What happens? Is life feeling good to you at that point? Are you feeling like, yes, this is what I dreamed of. I am in this place. I have the money that I need. I have family. I'm in Hollywood.
No, I never saw it that way. I'm just, I have always been a hardworking guy. So, I have always been a family guy. I have always been a very dedicated person. You know what I mean? So that was just the beginning. That was just. Once you get that kind of situation, responsibilities get bigger. Then you start thinking about insurance, liabilities, and all this. You know, people who don't like what you do, and oh my God, it's the adjustment of what fame, power, and money brings to human, especially when you grew up with none of that. You know what I mean?
Was it tough to?
Yeah, of course. I didn't know how. I just didn't know. To me, I'm a simple farm boy, farm guy, who came to America, looking for his passion and his dream. That's pretty much it. I didn't know how it was going to look like. So
Did it
you're not
freak you
prepared.
out a little bit? The fame?
No, because I stayed in the mountains most of the time, walking with the dogs. It was uncomfortable for my kids growing up, because people will come and say, "Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture?" What I was as a dad, So now they understand it, but when they were little, that was sad to see them. It was hard for them.
They didn't like it.
They didn't like it, Didn't like it. Now they love it.
Okay.
Because now, that's right.
What were we so upset about back
then? That's right. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they're kids. They want their dad.
Yeah.
They want their dad. And when you have animals, you pretty much are. It's like people who own hotels or restaurants. They're tied to it.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah, constantly. And animals they don't understand holidays and nothing like that.
So at a certain point, you opened up your dog psychology center.
I did. I opened it in South Central actually. I had a parking lot that a Cuban guy named Waldo Sanchez, we exchanged for security purpose. People were breaking in his place through his parking lot. So by me taking over the parking lot, I provided security. So we exchanged, I was doing a lot of, I used to help a lot of rescuers. So half of my pack belonged to rescuers, so that was like pro bono kind of thing. And I rescued dogs from the streets in South Central, a lot of pit bulls, because the gang members will fight him, and the dog with an eye out, they would throw him in the street, broken leg, light it up on fire, throw him out. So I became to rescue dogs. I'd never done it, but it was the right thing to do. And so a lot of the dogs that were with me, at least half of the pack were rescues, and the other half was, belonged to celebrities.
Life was good. Then it got difficult at a certain point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 16 years later, it got difficult. 16 days when I was in England, and that's when I received the call that we get a divorce, and that was a shock because I was not expecting it.
Your wife just called you out of the blue?
Well, not out of the blue for her, out of the blue for me.
So because
it was a plan because she said I've been planning this for a year and a half. I just didn't know. You know what I mean? So that's what throws people off. Like when you're not in agreement about doing something, like if I knew that those guys were going to do the kind of deal they did with me, I'm in agreement. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much what they did as that you were not in agreement that hurt you the most. You know what I mean? Because I'm a guy that like with the animals, you just work out of honesty. You know what I mean? It's just how you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you think the whole world, the people around you are gonna function the same way. There's nothing wrong with the separation. It's just how you do it. You know what I mean? That's what shocked me because at that time my kids knew. And they were okay with it. So the only one they didn't know was me.
Wait, they knew before you did?
Yeah, because she told them.
So you didn't sense there was anything
No,
wrong?
I'm working. I'm traveling all over the world. I'm doing live shows. This is my first time in England. We have sold outs. This was when Michael Jackson passed away. He was supposed to do a show in the O2, and we were worried because Michael Jackson, he's gonna sold out. Nobody's gonna go see my show. Yeah. But unfortunately, he passed away and then sold out. And so I'm about to go on stage when I received the call. So it's a shock, it's just a shock.
Right, because you were so busy going all over the world and thinking about all these different things that were going on.
And she was managing the business, so she knew what it was going to be. She was managing the whole thing. In the Mexican or Latino, we have a tendency to do things within the family, and everybody pitches in. So I brought her on. Listen, you speak English better than me, and so help the family. Yeah. So that's the shock. That was the shock. Is we were not compatible from the beginning, but we tried to make it work for the boys.
Oh, so you knew the marriage wasn't that?
No, we were not
perfect.
compatible. She's a cat girl. I'm a dog guy.
A cat girl?
Yeah.
You married a cat girl?
I didn't know. Listen, I was not looking to say, do you like cats or you like dogs?
It's such a fundamental difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but so that like even from that point of view, we were not compatible, yeah. So yeah, and it's so many things that we were not in common. Our common was our boys. So yeah, it was the right thing to do. It's just the way it happened. That's why I felt rejected by the pack. I felt betrayed, and all these things that send you into a spiral. Where you feel a failure, you feel something die, you feel rejected, you feel, you feel worthless. Even though you have all this thing happening here, to me it's about the family. You know what I mean? You're working so hard, not for me anymore. That's not about me. It's about the family, right? And so now the family is giving the back in a way. It's not, my kids were just doing what they were told. They were little. But that hurts, that really hurts, and that's why I try to commit suicide, which I did try, and I was not very successful.
So right after you found out, you tried?
Not right after, like I'm trying to come back and see if, how can I deal with it, and I got to a point where I just got too depressed. Like I was in a hole. I was dark. I was like weightless, and I didn't want to do nothing. You feel worthless, you know what I mean? You feel worthless. That's that emotional tones that you can be happy, you can be whatever inches or whatever thing. But I never been in that place. I come from poverty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I never come from rejection. I never come from dishonesty. I never experienced that crap.
Especially from the place that it's your heart, where your heart is.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the family. I'm like 100%. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't. I'm not a womanizer. I'm not. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know that because I never done it. I'm like a penguin. I stick to one. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if I did it out of honor, and that's what it is, that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
You said even if it's not out of love, I totally get it, but I did it out of honor. So I never broke the rule, or the golden rule.
Yeah.
Never.
So you did everything right that you felt was the right thing to do, but then it didn't. You felt rejected. You weren't part of, or the pack was sort of rejecting you, and you felt depressed.
Yeah, of course. You do feel, like the kids in high school when the friends rejected them or bullied them and things like that. That's why a lot of kids want to commit suicide.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts. It's very, very painful. When you're not accepted by your family. We are pack oriented. We are pack oriented species, and being an individual is wonderful, but being an individual without a pack is terrible. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. It's terrible.
So did you feel this bad for a long time?
I feel bad for like 2 weeks. For like 2 weeks, because I was in England and I have to continue the tour. That was the first day. Okay, so I have to continue for like a month, right? And then go from England to France to do this television thing where all these people come and so you can sell the show internationally. So I'm going, I'm going and I don't know, is it an anxiety attack? I don't know what did I have. The paramedics have to come to my hotel and bring me back and blah, blah, blah. It was just an anxiety attack, you know what I mean? And exhaustion as well. I wasn't eating, I was just super depressed. Come to LA. So what it looks like is you're here and you feel like your house is on fire and you can't help stop it. So that's the desperation, powerless, yeah. Powerless and you ask so many questions. How? Why? You know what I mean? There's no, you can't. I didn't do nothing wrong, you know. So, but I got back and didn't work out, and that's when I find out about, it was all planned and all this. It's like, I mean, that's amazing, good for you and good for the kids, but you guys left me behind. If I'm in agreement, let's go for it. There's nothing wrong. Agreement, commitment, follow through. No problem. We're gonna drown or we're gonna survive. But let's agree on one or the other. Don't just
and
let
we're
me
gonna do
drown.
it together.
Yeah, totally.
What did you do in terms of?
Oh, I just took a whole bunch of pills. They were supposed to kill 5 people. When when it's not your turn, even if you put yourself in front of the bullet, it's not gonna happen.
So did you plan this ahead of time, or did you just kind of one day? So did you look up? These are the pills that I need.
Yeah. This is the grab it, take it, and then the paramedics came.
How did the paramedics know?
The kids called. Yeah.
So you did this at home?
Yeah. You just lose your common sense and it's not you anymore. It's just pure darkness. It's pure sadness. It's pure failure. You are taken away by Darth Vader. You own Darth Vader. You own dark hole. You're covering yourself. I put that crap on me. Nobody else did it. I just didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Never in my life, See, when I was poor, and when I had some money, it happened to me.
Yeah, it's not about money.
But you could. I mean, it's like the spectrum of when you have nothing, you have more.
Right. It's not right. It's not about right. Or if it's about money, it's almost the opposite.
Right. But then at that moment, what all this crazy thoughts and whatever thing. Of course, it's not about money. It's just at the end of the day, we were not compatible from the beginning. Period.
That was it.
That was it. And the same thing that happened to people. A lot of times, people get the dog that's not compatible to them. That's it. It
was never going to be right.
No, so that's what this time I said, well, I'm going to find me a girl that is compatible to me.
So you got divorced.
Yeah.
Did you start to feel better? Did you see a therapist? What did you do to... What do you mean, hell no?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't need a therapist. And you need to go back to fall in love with what I was in love. That's
so you dove back
I rehabilitated myself with doing exercise, mental stimulation, and affection. That's it. Body, mind, heart. I did what I do for dogs. Yeah, I went back to what I know best. I started walking packs of dogs. I started, focusing on doing other things, like different shows. I went outside America. I went to Spain. I lived in Spain for a few months. I took Calvin with me. I took my fiance now. I met a wonderful woman.
How did you meet?
Dolce & Gabbana, Beverly Hills. She used to work in Dolce & Gabbana on the woman department. She was a wardrobe stylist, and that day I said, you know what? I just want to wear a suit, and I used to weigh 135 pounds. I'm skinny as hell, and so that day I just love James Bond. That's one of my favorites, and also
who's the best James Bond?
All of them. I like. They're all classic. You know what I mean? They're all fit. They're all smooth, sexy. I also like Scarface. Yeah, so I just got this thing, I want to get my inner whatever it's
suave
called.
guy.
Yeah. So I just want to get it, and got my sandals, my jeans, my white t-shirts, my black glasses. Walk through Dolce & Gabbana, and on the right side, on the woman's side, this beautiful silhouette. I didn't see her face. I just looked at her silhouette, and I went, "Oh God, what a beautiful body!" And I just won. I didn't have the energy to engage, but it brought back this male side of me, this exciting side of me, you know, and she actually went to the elevator, and I saw her face to face, and I said, "Oh my God, you're even beautiful."
You said that to her?
No, in my head. I'm so insecure at that time. I'm insecure. I'm a failure. I just want to go get my suit so I can feel good. I'm looking for a suit to feel good.
Right, because you don't already.
I don't feel, you know what I mean? Yeah. So she said, my version of how we met is she has a different version, but she started talking to me, and she said, I'm very proud of, as a Latino, I'm very proud of you, and she gave me a high five, and I said, oh my God, in my head I'm like, wow, you're so beautiful. I didn't say it, I didn't say words, I just said thank you, and just went out. And
oh, so she knew who you were?
She said she doesn't, but like that guy said, I have a different version.
Yeah.
But she did engage into a conversation.
Right, because why else would she say that to just a random guy?
That's right.
Right.
Why are you going to elevator with a guy that just walked in with fucking sandals? Sorry about that. With sandals and a jeans, and so something happened there. I visually saw it, and and then I love her face, and so everything about her was just took away my misery away,
So what, did you get her number then, or what?
No. I didn't engage in the conversation. No, I was like super timid, super like insecure.
So just thank you, and that was all.
I was like, thank you for being here. I just not even verbally. I didn't say nothing. I didn't even try to flirt with her. Like, I didn't feel like I could ask her out. Like guys will grade the girls, and that's a 10, that's a 5, that's a thing. And for me, she was a 10. And I was a 2, so it wasn't going to be. It's like it's just a girl, so you can see, you can't take, So the good thing is that she asked the sales lady about me, and so that was a big relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, how would the sales lady know anything about you?
Because I bought a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, so she would have your.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and she said he's coming back on whatever day, because we're gonna alter his things. He's gonna come for measurement and blah blah blah. So that's when I actually talked to her, and I invite her. When I'm gonna go to Miami and to do something for Univision. Can I take you out? I didn't know.
So were you feeling
she was from here. She was actually from New York.
Oh, from New York.
She's a Dominican girl born in Washington Heights. So she moved to LA, so she has been in LA 2 to 3 months. So she's new. So when I find out that she was new, the move was, can I take you out? Can I show you around? You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Right? Yeah, it's like, that was the...
So you must have been feeling like a 3 at least at that point.
I felt like a 2.5. Okay. Yeah, so it was good. And I was just love to see her. And so she said yes. She said yes.
There's more. In part 2 of my talk with Cesar Millan, you'll find out what happened next after he fell for Jahida, his fiance. And we get behind the scenes details about his TV shows. He talks dog psychology, rehabilitation, he analyzes humans, dog parks, and he shares his daily routine. It's all good. In the meantime, check out my Cesar Millan bonus video. You can actually see him doing a quick answer Q&A, which is part of episode 2. So it's like a sneak peek. You can also see pictures of his dogs, Junior and Benson, in the hotel suite where Cesar and I talked. Everything you need is in the show notes, clearly labeled, one click. Thanks for listening to Really Famous. I'm Cara Mayer Robinson, and I'll be back with more Cesar Millan. This is part 2 of my interview with Cesar Millan.
Something about her, and she was sweet. I love her voice as well. So I started liking everything about her. Like the voice, the eyes, the smile, the hair. Love her hair.
Yeah, it's called falling in love.
Yeah.
So now you live in Santa Clarita?
No. Now my brother, I went and lived with my brother for a period of time. I needed family, and my brother was working with me, and so I went to his apartment, and little by little I started feeling better, and then I rent an apartment Beautiful apartment right by Universal Studios. Beautiful, beautiful. I bought a brand new car. Just like the suit. I just wanted to reinvent just a new thing, just a new life, like that transition, like the metaphor. And so the car was white. It's just like an angel. The apartment was it's beautiful like this. You have this beautiful view.
Right now we're looking across the Hudson River.
Yes,
New York City, and it looks beautiful.
So that was in a beautiful apartment, and you need just to start all over. And then from there, I bought a house in Studio City, brand new house. I made $600,000 on the sale. Then I bought another house in Encino. Sold that house to a nice, beautiful family, and then we moved to Encino to another brand new house, bigger. And that's where we live right now.
So you flip houses too?
I do.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many dogs are with you now?
4 at the house, and it's a very super dog-friendly house. They have their own grooming salon. They have their own area, like for them, So
right now you're on the road, and you have 2 of your dogs with you, or they're 2.
Well, Junior and Benson are always with me because this guys definitely represent the yin and the yang, the little dog and the big dog.
Okay, so Junior is
a pit bull.
And I think we've seen him on TV, right?
Yeah, Junior was born and raised on TV.
Yeah.
He's the child actor.
And right now he's sleeping under your legs.
Yeah.
On the couch.
On the couch.
Totally comfortable and
totally
packed out.
Packed out. Yeah, they save energy for tonight. They love to
they're
go on
going to be
stage.
performing tonight.
Yeah, they go on stage.
They go on stage with you.
People love to see them, I don't keep them on stage because people would not watch me. They keep
Right.
watching Junior and talk, hi Junior, and so I'm talking about something that is very important, and then people would just totally get distracted.
And then Benson.
Benson comes, he loves the stage. You're going to see him. He is a show dog.
So Benson is what kind of dog?
He's a Pomeranian.
A Pomeranian. And Benson is sleeping but in a corner.
Benson always liked to be facing
like in a den,
to where
almost?
you are.
Oh, facing, right. And he is facing us.
So he always got to go and like face to, Junior's always going to be near and Benson is always going to be away facing. And we have other dogs. Some of them, they go here and some of them go here. Everybody has their own spot.
And they understand within the pack who goes where and who does what.
Yeah, it's all in agreement.
Okay, and everybody's calm within this
When
pack.
it needs to be calm, indoor should be calm. Indoor, the dog should practice stretching or resting. A little bit of walk from one place to another, but not running.
So you're performing tonight. You have a live show, and you do that how often?
I do it on the weekends.
Every weekend?
For the most part, yeah.
So you're a busy man.
Like I told you, that's why my mom put me in judo.
Right. This works for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Dogs are very productive species, and I think humans are. We like to be productive. I'm one of those people who, if I'm not doing something productive, I don't find the purpose of life. So for me, live shows or a TV show or writing a book or whatever, it's just to keep my spirit productive. It's just to paying it forward, helping people, and it's
right.
just.
Now, you never got any specific training of any kind of, I don't know, dog training or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I never got to the dog trainers in Hollywood. I actually train trainers now.
You're also like a therapist at this point.
Well,
a human therapist.
I do train people, right?
That's what I mean.
So making people aware and helping people to become to acknowledge that they are the problem is definitely first step.
Right. I mean, it seems like if anybody's watching you on TV, we get it. We know it. You know what I mean? And we love to watch it over and over again. But come on, we know. How can you not know? If you're having a problem with your dog at this point, you should know, because Cesar would tell you that you're the problem and you're not being the appropriate dog leader.
But in the back of the mind of every human being, they don't want to be the problem. You know what I mean? It's just easy to point out outside.
Yeah, but it always stems from the human. Almost, not always, I guess, right? Some of the dogs that you've seen, they come in
some of the dogs are too far gone.
Yeah.
They need someone with more experience to bring it back to easy management. Yeah. Right. So it can be managed by a human who loves them but doesn't have the experience of rehabilitating. And rehabilitate means returning a dog to his natural state. So it's not that the dog is crazy; it's the dog hasn't have his life met, his fulfillment met, so he has become super unstable. So he needs to be with someone who knows when the dog is going to bite, when the dog is going to run away, because it's at a level 10. That's why I call red zone. You know what I mean? So most people are okay with level 2, level 3 of problem. Very few people can actually do red zone.
Right.
Yeah. So
how often are you filming a show now? Like, what is your general?
Twice a year I film shows, because I do also shows in Asia. For Asia, I am doing Cesar's Recruit Asia, and the whole point of going to different countries, and specifically in Asia, is because when people think Asia, they think humans eating dog. So it's not like not everybody in Asia does it, but one way you can change someone's way of doing things. It's not by blaming them or telling them they're wrong, because Hindus never blame Americans by eating cows, right? Cows in India are God. So in order for us to change the frame of mind of people, we just have to let them know there is other opportunities, other way of looking at it. So one thing that I told when I went over there is like, would you rather do business with a dog one time, or would you rather do with the same dog for many years? And so they didn't know that dog walking is available. They don't know that grooming is available. They don't know that they bring in a dog into your house and so you can take care of the dog is available, which you can make money for years versus making money one time.
Okay.
So do you see it?
Yeah.
So then they say, well, yes, I sold the dog so I can make money, or I can do a service and I can make money with the same dog for many years.
Right, it makes much more sense.
That makes much more sense.
Sure.
So you're not making them wrong. You're just telling them that they can make more money.
You're helping them discover it on their own.
That's
almost.
right.
Yeah. There's a little psychology
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
You don't go to people's home to tell them they're wrong. You go to people's home to tell them, to make them aware. Let them figure it out that they're wrong.
So what happens, and do you kind of know who the dog is going to be and who the family's going to be? Do they give you does the producer go in and take some footage or anything?
I don't care. That's more for producers to know, because there is a science for TV. What person can keep viewers engaged.
Yeah, and what angles they need
yeah,
to.
you see what I mean? So I don't care. I don't really care. I love the not knowing.
So you really go in blind.
Yeah, I don't need to know.
But so you have a team who probably goes in, they do their thing ahead of time. You don't know.
People send videos.
Oh, okay.
People send videos, and the producers sit there to watch. Okay, this person is funny. This person is annoying. This person is this. This person is that. Oh, this person is sweet, or whatever. So it's like flavors of the energies that people need to watch on TV.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with it. I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah, you just come in and you see.
It's just common sense. I'm just going to teach you common sense. I don't have to be a scientist. Love is already there. What's not there is common sense.
Sure. Right. Love is always there.
Yeah.
In every place you
in
go.
every place. I'm not going to go teach people how to love a dog.
But how often? How long do you have to spend though once you get into the home?
With the human, I always ask. So, how can I help you? And then they begin to tell you, and then so I divide the people live in 4 different worlds: the intellectual world, emotional world, spiritual world, instinctual world. But if they were living in the instinctual world, they wouldn't need me. People in the Amazons live in the instinctual world. People in the city, they live in their mind and their emotions or in their spirituality, right? So then once they start talking to you, I know they're coming from the intellectual point of view, emotional point of view, or spiritual point of view. For example, people say, my dog is so smart, Cesar, but he doesn't come when I call him. You see it? Oh, my dog is my baby, but he wants to kill a dog. My dog is my soulmate, but he doesn't like my husband.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by how they open the conversation,
almost.
That's right. You see what world are they coming from.
So you match it to one of those 4 in your head.
So that allows me. Okay, this person's coming from an intellectual point of view. This person's coming from an emotional point of view, or from a spiritual point of view. Nothing wrong with that, but my goal is to help them understand the instinctual point of view. Right? Yeah, and then gently. because in their mind, they're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? In their mind, when a person says, my dog is my son, my dog is my baby, it's real to them, you know? So you have to be very, very careful on just asking them to put it aside, not to let it go. Yeah, it's just to
temporarily
put it aside. That's right. So you can see things in a different point of view. And then you bring this one back, and then we match it or fuse it.
So you can do that in what, like an hour?
No, not always. Sometimes it's 3 hours, you know, because remember, 80% of the people that come to me are women. 80%. One of the things that women love to do is talk. And a lot of times they don't have somebody to talk to in their home. So I become that guy. That's how I gain the trust. They already love me.
Oh, so when you give them the instruction,
first
they're
I listen.
already, yes.
No, you first listen to a woman. You first listen. You don't tell them when to stop. You just she's automatically going to say, okay, now help me, because what she's doing, she's venting, right? So you have to also understand the psychology of a woman and the psychology of a man, you know, and that's it. You just have to let him be. You know what I mean? Let him be. So that way you naturally create trust. They love me. You know, they love me already, and I'm already welcome into their home. But we haven't had a moment where you build trust. And the easiest way to build trust with a woman is you listen to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not making it wrong. You just listen. You attentively listen to her, genuinely listen to her. She's going to feel it, that this guy who they already love is listening to her. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerful right there, because then they're open. They're open to listening to you when it's time.
Yeah, because I already did my part. I listened to you.
Sure.
Now it's time for me to share. Well,
so it usually doesn't take that long, I guess, then, but a few hours
does.
or whatever. It does take long. So you just let them talk as long as they can.
You can't stop them, because if they don't get to the drain all the way, and then you are going to have a halfway there woman. You understand?
I totally understand, but I'm going to illustrate it because people aren't going to see it. So you're kind of saying you have to empty. You're pointing to like your abs, sort of, and you're saying it has to empty everything. They need to be able to get everything out.
Everything.
And if it's only halfway, like towards your chest or whatever, then it's there. They still have half inside, and it's not going to work. They haven't let it all out.
They haven't let it all out. And most men do not let their women share. They don't want to deal with it. It's too many words. You understand? And so.
But we women like to share.
Yeah. It is what it is.
We like to share.
It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I'm a good listener. What makes me a good dog whisperer? That I'm a good listener. I'm a good listener, and most of my family members are females. I grew up with females.
But I think that has a lot to do with it.
And animals, you know, you have to listen to an animal. And the animal is going to tell you what he needs, what he's missing, where he is. So it's just they're faster to tell you. That's it. You know, a woman has that emotional, intellectual sharing moment. You know, so that's the difference. They're both going to share. The dog is going to get to the point quicker because it's instinctual, right? And a woman is emotional, intellectual. And it's just what it is. It's
right, with exceptions, of course.
And what?
With exceptions, a woman there could be a woman who's not like that, or a man who's the opposite, right?
Oh yeah. This is very, 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 very rare, very rare, especially in the dog world. Yeah, it's because in the dog world it's very emotional. Yeah, because most of the dogs that I work with, their dog is their children. So the only way you can see that is emotional. A person who's not a dog person, he would say that's not her son.
So do you think of yourself as your dog's father or owner?
Well, it's just a label. It's a title, right?
Right.
I'm just a human who loves them.
You're their human.
Yeah, I'm their human who loves them, and my responsibility is to guide them to do the right thing, you know, and to protect them from the right things. to protect them from, from things that are not going to be helpful to them.
Right.
So leadership means protection and direction. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that my job as a human. So you can call me a dad, you can call me a human, you can call me an owner. I don't care.
Let me ask you a few specifics about things that you do with the dogs. So first of all, riding the bike with the dog. I always see you do it, and it looks amazing. But I feel like, can people really do that, or can only you do that?
No.
Because it seems like, I mean, if I tried that, I would break my neck.
Well,
I mean,
you
I guess
can't
my
do it with a
husband
pack
could do
of
it,
dogs, but you can do it with one dog.
but anybody could just do that with a dog?
Yeah.
It seems so difficult.
Listen, once you make a dog focus, that's all you're gonna. It's like sled. It's the same. If a guy can do it with 12 dogs, 18 dogs, and a sled, what he's asking is to stay focused on one line.
What about dogs who hate, or not hate, but are afraid of men?
Well, so yes, especially the back of the pack dogs. Dogs are born to be in the back of the pack. Are definitely going to be more sensitive. They're going to do better with women because women are going to be more gentle in the approach. Women are going to be, it's okay. So there's going to tone the energy down versus the man is going to say, what's wrong with the dog?
But here's something fun. I would give you a funny example of my friends, Kim and Jason, who have I guess it's a lab mix, I'm not really sure. Their dog, Lucy, is afraid of all men, not women. However, so my husband comes in one night, meets the dog. He's the gentlest, loves dogs, everything. But she started barking at him just because he was a man. So
the
what
smell,
is that about?
the smell of the testosterone. Yeah, I mean, we're in the energy world we're the same, but when it comes to chemistry, we're different. Our chemistry is different. You have estrogen, we have testosterone.
Right. So there is that energy, but there is that smell.
The smell. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, that explains
So obviously you have to help her go through this scent. Yeah, that's a very sensitive dog. That's the kind of dog that you can use for like finding cancer and finding. I mean, that's how strong the sensitivity is. Like recognizes men at a distance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the sensitive. I mean, testosterone, as you know, is a very strong scent. That's why the males are peeing everywhere. Right? Yeah, they want to pee everywhere.
I may as well ask you my own question. I have a black lab, and it's a girl. And when she goes to pee outside, she walks as she pees.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well, some dogs don't stop and pee. They just too excited about it, so they keep going.
Every time. She never stands still.
Yeah. Some dogs walk in two legs. And they pee. It's not very common because dogs do take their time to use their bathroom. That's
the problem. You're too excited to see what's outside. I think
that's correct.
Because she likes to sniff everything out.
Yeah, the brain is too excited and the body is not. So the body and the brain are not together.
So what's the biggest mistake humans are making with their dogs?
Well, to me, is about honoring the identity of who you're working with. Horse people are really respectful to a horse. They want the horse to be a horse. Cat people, they want the cat to be a cat. But the dog people, they want the dog to be a human. So the man best friend is the one we don't honor the identity. I'm not saying not to love a dog the way you love a human. My gratitude to animals and to dogs are, super high. Everything I have accomplished is because the dog opened the door. But I need to honor. It's like a man not honoring, the identity of a woman. It's just at the same level. You were born to be a woman, and that's your identity. And now the people who are transgender, the identity is something else, and you must honor that, right? And so I think by beginning with that we're not really honoring the identity of a dog and what we want to make as a dog a human first. And that begins the mistake, because you're gonna use human psychology on someone who has his own psychology. So what that says is the human is prioritizing his needs first. So that alone tells you that's going to be a not ideal relationship, because the human is being selfish unconsciously. People don't know. People don't know they're doing it. And super powerful people, super famous people, super rich people do it, because they think, how can love be bad? How can emotions be bad? How can adoring someone like a human be bad? Well, there's nothing wrong once you allow them to be themselves, and then you humanize them.
So one has to come before the other.
Yes.
Not
A woman is
versa.
going to feel great being a woman. Great, the greatest, the best ever, right?
Yeah.
And as you know, until today, 2018, many parts of the world, they still don't allow a woman identity. So, what is the worst thing men do to women? Not allowing to be women.
I gotcha.
She's going to be happy being who she is. There's nothing, there's no science
Right,
around. It's very spiritual. You love someone when you help somebody to be themselves. That's true love.
So what makes you happy?
Well, what makes me happy is definitely to being able to exercise. I think, spirit is important, mind is important, heart is important, but body is important.
So what do you do? You exercise every day, I'm sure?
Yeah. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I take care of the dogs first and foremost. I do a short walk, about 40 to an hour, and then I go do Pilates. And then I come back home, and then I eat my breakfast with Jahaira. She makes an amazing shakes. And then I go to the ranch, and that's where we do the more, the pack and the farm animals and all of that stuff. I do by 12:1. I do my meetings.
What meetings?
What meetings? Like business.
Oh, business meetings.
Yeah, like from 12 to 4. All the animals are resting. Come back to the ranch. Do another long walk, another activities, because we have goats, and so everybody, chickens, I make the chickens walk, I make the emu walk, and everybody gets to have an interaction. All my dogs and all my animals interact, like in the farm. To me, that was the best
It's
thing.
full circle.
That's
right back to what
now I have my own land,
Yeah.
and I'm bringing what I learned, the whole harmony and balance
Yeah.
and the ecosystem that I grew up with. Nobody's on a leash. Everybody is,
So what do you do with all the eggs? Because you must get a lot of eggs.
Oh, I give plenty of eggs to the people that work with me. Yeah, we take some home.
An egg a day per chicken, right?
Sometimes two. Yeah, and my kids have an apartment, so they always come and take some eggs. Yeah, so just to be able to be productive and help.
Plus, you're also in that environment that feels right to you, with the farm and the open space and all the animals and family.
A wonderful woman. My mom calls me every day. My dad also, he's there.
And where do they live now?
Still in the same place.
Okay.
Yeah. It never goes one day without me being grateful about my accomplishment or staying healthy and alive. So that's my spiritual part of it.
I can see just the way that you talked about everything that you've been through, starting when you were a child. I can see that it's constantly in the front of your mind.
Yeah.
It's part of who you are, and it's
Yeah.
not something you try to forget or move on from, right?
No, it's good to know where you come from. It's good to to appreciate and to know that it was a sacrifice for them before I became who I became. All of that. It's not just Cesar Millan cross the border and boom. It's just whatever happened in the past has to do with what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future. So the gratitude of the family, and the pride of the family, even if we came from a low income family, it doesn't matter. I mean. What I gained growing up in that environment is who I am right now. Mm-hmm. It's just I haven't stopped being the same guy. To do better, to help people, to take the opportunities. It's always about helping the pack. You know what I mean? My kids, my mother-in-law, my parents. I support my whole family. I am my dad. So to me, that's an amazing role model experience. You know what I mean? It's a big responsibility. But I love it. I really like that I'm able to provide health and food and shelter. And I took my mom to Israel, and as a Catholic, that was one of his dreams. My grandmother from my mom's side was extremely religious, and her dream was to go to Israel. For Catholics, that's the big deal. Even for Jewish, it's not a big deal, but for Catholics, it's a big deal. So I hold on that unity, that love, that gratitude. That's who we are.
Your father got his $100 back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, plenty more.
It was quite a good investment.
Yeah, exactly. The funny part is when I told my dad the first time when I called to Mexico, like months later, I told my dad, Dad, guess what? Americans are paying me to walk their dogs. So I was very proud. It says $300, $300, $400. And my dad said, get a better job. He had no idea. Where we're from, nobody pays you to take care of nobody's dog.
So he was like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? You're not a vet. You know what I mean? So the more legitimate job was to be a vet. And I'm walking people's dog. And that to him was like devastating. How my son is working. And he said, no, you don't understand, Pop. You don't understand. So finally, when he watched the show for the first time, he teared up.
Did he?
He apologized and so sorry, that I have no idea. He didn't know. He had no idea that my dream was to be the best dog trainer in the world. That's why I told my mom, because if I would have told my dad would have said, be something else, he didn't saw a business in the dog training world. He didn't saw it as a legitimate
Well,
thing.
most people probably wouldn't have.
Right, not until now.
Not right. Well, most people also don't become Cesar Millan.
Yeah, but now it's a lot of kids that want to be a dog whisperer. Now it's a lot of kids that want to rehabilitate dogs. Now, now the profession is legitimate. Mm-hmm. So it's changing. The world is changing because this guy wanted to be the best dog trainer in the world, and it turned a dog whisperer. So you never know where life is going to take you. You just have to stay super passionate and super focused in what you really want. And even if your own family member tells you it's impossible or it's not good or whatever it is, as long as you feel it, go for it.
Now I feel like I have to ask, where do you want to be in 5 years, or what do you want to do next?
Well, I think right now we are definitely got the respect of the government all over the world, and they're understanding the needs of having a dog psychology center in every country. A dog psychology center is a place where people actually understand how to be with a dog. So it's a community of people where they're all in agreement, where breed doesn't matter, where you know how to help a person that is struggling. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes the blueprint of a place that is safe, so you can then go into the real world. Yeah, so people have dog parks, but a dog park is not a place where you learn anything. It's just a place where you gamble. You gamble the life of a dog. Because a lot of times people bring excited dogs, nervous dogs, tense dogs, frustrated dogs, and they put them in a dog park. You know what I mean? So dog fights will occur. Dog fights will happen. People will fight with each other. People will learn to dislike each other because they're not doing it right. They're not walking together and then come into a dog park. You understand?
Yeah, sure.
They just for different homes.
Yeah.
And they just put them there.
In this spot.
Okay, guys, see if you can mingle with each other.
Good
See, that's
luck.
what I say is a gamble. They're gambling. They're gambling the moment.
Uh-huh.
So there is a way that you can do it in a more organized, preventative way, but the government needs to be involved because this is something that it should be required.
Oh, so you think you want to start these? You want to open these all over the place and have the government involved?
Yeah, it should
Fund
be
it with funding.
But taxpayers.
Uh-huh. So like public instead of dog parks, rehabilitation areas, or
the dog psychology centers are going to have the dog park, are going to have coffee shops, are going to have trails, are going to have farm animals, are going to have all the scenarios that you might find in the city, but you need to be trained human.
Okay.
It's like your DMV place. You see it? You don't just get a car if you don't know how to drive it. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to know how to pass by dogs, how to interact dogs, how to, all of that. You need to understand what state of mind you should bring when you go to a coffee shop or when you go to a restaurant. You know what I mean? You should know.
Yeah.
It's not that you bring a pit bull or a Rottweiler or a Lhasa Apso. It's that everybody is in a calm state while it's food present on the table. Therefore, it's not going to be fights. So there is a way where we can prevent all these problems. So my goal is honestly is for humans to know the world peace can happen with dogs. We might not find world peace with politics, with religion, with economy, and with race and all of that stuff, but it's one area we can all find world peace is dog lovers. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to do the right thing for the dog.
So are you working on this already?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Is this going to happen?
Well, if it's not going to happen when I'm alive, it's already starting.
It has already started.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and
awesome.
of course, to see my kids continuing the education. I did rehabilitation. I did intervention. I want them to do prevention. I want them to focus on making sure the millennials, the next generation, to understand that there is a way where you can prevent for a dog to ever becoming unstable.
How did you get so good at speaking English? Like, you really speak well.
Well, thank you. In the back of my mind, I don't think it's so clear, but this comes from my mom. My mom say, if you're going to listen to somebody, you could listen to people who are going to be positive about what they're saying. So slang was not allowed for me to speak. And so Oprah, Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, I started seeking for those people, the influence people, how they talk, how clear they talk, how they pause, the words they use. So I study people. I study people just like a baby studies, grown-ups. And so, I definitely imitate without losing me. And of course I want to make sure that the people understand what I'm saying. So I put a lot of effort in being clear. I put a lot of effort in using universal words. The whole world, from a teenager to a young person, because you're going to see, if you watch the show tonight, you're going to see kids, teenagers, moms and seniors. So the whole entire family comes.
Right.
So I have to be able to be mature, but at the same time simple, where kids can learn.
Yes,
and
you're
understand.
accessible to everyone.
Yes, because to me the goal is we can all have an amazing relationship with dogs.
And I just heard that you have some fans, like people drive really far, they'll fly
15
to
hours,
see
10
you.
hours, fly. Yeah, in LA we have, I do a TCW, Training Caesar's Way. People from Germany, people from Egypt, people from Brazil, people from all over the world comes. Every from all over the world.
So did they get to meet you? Did they get a chance to be like?
I do the classes.
I
Yeah.
thought they were coming to the live shows.
Oh, well, the live shows is here. Like the longest will be like Canada or Texas.
Right.
And so there is people. They are. I am their Christmas present. Their birthday present.
That's so cool.
Yes. So it's a family thing, because dogs are part of the family, and they feel that I am part of their family, and I help them with their family member, and so the gratitude is huge, the love is huge, the appreciation is huge, and so for them to want to meet me and say thank you or hug or I always want to meet you, it's very common, it's very normal. I don't take it for granted. I know that the struggle that a lot of people have to do, driving 10 hours, 15 hours is a lot just for 2 hours. But yeah, so it's great. I mean,
Daria is showing me, she has pictures of a group of women who have come to see you over and over again.
That's right.
So she has them over
then
time.
you have the super fans.
Super fans.
Then you have the super fans. I mean, they love it every time. They love it every time. I feel like Bruce Springsteen. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same people who go to this concert. The same, they're all doing the hand muff, that. And so I guess I am Bruce Springsteen level, but I'm the dog guy. So you see a lot of grandparents coming, you're doing a great job. That's when I love it, because that's a generation that have seen a lot, but they never seen a Mexican
like
guy.
this.
You know what I mean? They never seen a Mexican guy influence America at this level with dogs. They have seen Cesar Chavez, which is, the rights for farmers, but they never seen a guy who went outside what the common Mexican thing, you know, and it went into the heart of America, which is dogs.
So do you go back to Mexico often?
Yeah. Yeah, my family lives
Do
there.
people recognize you there as
Oh my
like
God,
the American
yeah.
star?
Over there, I'm a hero.
Oh, you're more than the American star. You're global.
Oh yeah, I'm over there because I'm an immigrant. You know what I mean? Because I come. Remember, third world country. The reason it was third world country because vast majority is poor. So when they see somebody that they can relate, and they went this far, you know, you don't see a lot of Latinos in American television. You see them in Univision.
You don't.
No.
There really aren't many.
Yeah, George Lopez. You know, Desi Arnaz.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. So, but those were actors. I'm actually a guy who actually teaches. You know, I'm the first Latino who actually teaches on TV. And so for them,
so they feel proud of you.
They feel very proud.
And
They
grateful.
And you know, I jumped the border. I speak English.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
like the perfect.
And I went not only America, worldwide. I'm in 120 countries.
What happens when you're like walking, or you're just kind of walking out? Do you get recognized?
Yeah.
Do they come up to you a little bit too often?
Yeah.
How do you handle it?
To just take a picture.
Take a picture and go. Yeah.
Some people want to ask you a question, you know, but I say, it's not the right time.
You're very recognizable.
Yeah. But you know, they have that chance, you know. Listen, it doesn't take 2 seconds for me to answer a question, you know.
And even at the airport, it'll happen, right?
All the time.
You'll be going through customs.
All the time. I mean, it has, you know, obviously, like the most funny part is when the pilot, as we are in the air, comes out of the cabin and say, "Hey, I have a problem with my dog." And you know, you just like, can you go back, and when we land, I can answer the question.
Just
Don't worry, that's right. You know, like that's the pilot. Oh, don't worry. You know, my partner is right there. It's like, no, but 2 people is better.
Right. There's a reason there are 2 people they put in that spot.
That's right. You mean when I went to the White House many years ago, the Secret Service knew that I was in line because you got to go online, you know, and everybody goes online. But they knew that the dog whisperer was there. I cut the line and all the way to the front, like.
Even at the White House.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. That's
the
pack leader status.
That is. You're living a good life.
I have seen the world.
Who do people think Cesar Millan is? Who do they think you are?
I don't know. There's so many things. There's so many things. I don't know. I know who my mom thinks I am.
Who does your mom think you are?
She thinks I'm an angel.
Is she right?
I'm a good son. Yeah, I'm a good son. I'm definitely a good son, a good brother. Yeah. I try to be for her, you know, for my dad. Yeah. I wanted to have the best life.
And it sounds like they raised you well.
A lot of love,
Yeah.
a lot of good moral values, a lot of rules. You know, it's definitely my mom and my dad were my pack leaders. You know, I never saw my dad as having more authority than my mom. My grandparents were my pack leaders. So I was born and raised in a super healthy environment with respect, trust, and love was everything. Therefore, loyalty rises, you know, after those 3 things, and I think that's a wonderful thing, you know, because I love that about animals. You know, I love how they trust 100%, respect 100%, love you 100%. Therefore, they're loyal to you. That's what they follow you off leash. You see it? So once you have those 3 things, loyalty is the leash. Mm-hmm. And I experienced that with my human pack. You know, and so by me being with my dogs, it's like always remembering how my family was, me growing up.
Who is Cesar Millan, really?
I would see myself as a guy with, like most people, with big dreams. You know, visionary. I want to help the world. Sincerely, want to help the world. I think it's possible. You know, I think it's needed. My faith is is bigger than my instincts. I just want to be different than anybody else, so it's easier for me to influence people because I want to definitely be unique about the approach that I do.
Yeah, I think you've done that.
You know what I mean?
I don't think you have to worry about that. Okay, here's what I would like to do. I'm going to ask you some quick answer questions.
Okay.
So they're not very deep or reflective. They're just answer off the top of
All
your
right.
head. What is in your fridge?
Coconut water.
What's in your car, or do you drive a truck?
I drive a Range Rover.
What's in it?
Dogs.
What's the first thing you do when you get home?
Kiss Jahaira.
Your fiance.
Yeah.
What TV shows do you watch now?
Game of Thrones, Narcos, comedy, stand-up comedy. I watch a lot of that. Yeah, we watch a lot of documentary about food and things like that.
Do you have any celebrity clients?
Many.
Who's your favorite?
All of them.
What's a perfect Sunday for you?
I wake up really early, and then for Jahaira to agree to go with me to the ranch, and we stop at my favorite menudo place. That's the only day that I do a cheating, and I eat my awesome Mexican food, which nobody likes, but I love it.
Wait, nobody likes it?
Well, most people don't like it because it's the stomach of the cow.
So you're eating it alone, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite meal?
Oh, my favorite meal has to be huevos rancheros. Love them.
One of your favorite restaurants?
One of my favorite restaurants has to be Crustaceans.
One product I can't live without is,
My face cream.
which is
I forgot the name of it, but I can't live without it. Oh, nail clippers.
nail clippers.
Forget about the face cream, nail clippers. I don't like to see a little bit of nail. I like my nails super clean. I work with animals, and I think it's very important for a man to be super, super clean on his nails and his fingers.
The last thing I do before I go to sleep is,
Make sure the dogs are all fine. You know, everybody take a pee break before they go to sleep, and then hug Jahaira super tightly.
if I wasn't a dog whisperer, I'd be,
A park ranger. I just want to work around nature, you know, or I love dolphins, but I'm not really good in the water. But I would just anything. You know, listen, believe it or not, I would love to clean freeways. I don't like to see freeways dirty.
do you ever go out there yourself and pick a few
It's
things up that you
dangerous.
see?
It's dangerous. They don't let you. The highway patrol will not let you clean the freeways. But you know, you can ask Jahaira. I say, babe, I just don't like when I see all this dirt, because I love the freeways in America. You know, the roads are so beautiful, so manicured. So there's no need for people to have trash. That's why I love Singapore. Singapore is the most beautiful, clean country, because it's a country. You're not going to see trash. I love that discipline. I love that organization, that cleanliness.
What are you obsessed with?
Life. I'm obsessed with sharing the simplicity of life.
My biggest secret is,
My biggest secret? I don't have a secret. I'm very open. I share everything. I obviously share, you know, me trying to commit suicide and my divorces and my lawsuits. And I don't like to hide things because it just drives me crazy. And I live by the energy, so I don't like to hold anything because it becomes toxic. That's it.
Cesar Millan, thank you for being on Really Famous.
Thank you.